questions, we always want to like ask questions if you want to. Okay.
Fire away again.
First? Okay. I have five. Okay. All right. Start now? Are you recording? Okay. Well, first of all, we'd like to thank you for agreeing to talk to us.
No problem.
Tell us a little bit about this exhibit that you've been.
This show that's this week is graduating seniors. So kids doing their BFA show, their Bachelor of Fine Arts senior thesis, essentially. And what's unique about Kent State as opposed to other schools of art is that we make our seniors essentially fill a gallery. We have, in this space, it's a group show, but we have two other student galleries and they have to, where they can show individually, and they actually have to fill those spaces. But essentially the space they use up here would fill those spaces.
Okay. I know this is a little late, but would you like a mic on him or?
No, it's levels are fine.
Okay, okay. Is there some kind of theme to this?
No, we do, we call it a BFA gala. Really, this is just a fall slot for kids doing their senior thesis.
Okay.
We do a more elaborate one, 2 weeks, where we take over the whole building in the spring. But it's, there are still kids matriculating, as we all know, in the fall. So,
okay.
I just, try and help them out. The kindness of my heart.
And then what exactly does BFA stand for?
Bachelor of Fine Arts.
Okay, that's what we thought, but we just wanted to make sure. And how many shows are there each semester?
Of a Bachelor of Fine Arts or in general?
Both, I guess.
Well, I'm not sure how many. It just depends on the year. How many? I guess, BFA shows. How many? There's probably anywhere upwards of 20 or so a semester. Some of them in a group setting. How many I'm actually matriculating? That's a good question. I don't really know.
Okay.
Because I don't show them all. They show here, they show off campus, they show in Cleveland, Akron, all over the place. In terms of shows in the galleries, I do over, about 20 shows a year in this space, downtown. It's a little around 12. So I do about 40 shows a year total. Over at the library, we do 3 or 4 shows. Out of Michigan, out of Eels and the Boston Music Center, we do 2. It just depends on the year.
Okay.
It's over 30, under 50. It just depends on if we're trying to do some funky workshop stuff. It just depends. That's the nature of a teaching gallery or galleries, where you're trying to accommodate the research that's happening inside the school. So sometimes there's an opportunity to bring some well-known artist in from wherever, and you want to give them an opportunity to do something interesting. And the only place they can do that in a space this size.
Right.
But you plan. The challenge there is I plan all those things 2 to 3 years in advance. So it's challenging.
Wow.
So you leave a week like this. I leave a week at the end of the semester, but the rest of it is, you're just going to shuffle and stuff around.
And how many BFA galas like this have you taken part in?
Oh. A lot. 12 years.
Okay. You've got the experience, that's for sure.
I'm the director of galleries, so it's 12 years.
Okay.
These different shows.
So how many students are participating in this gala?
Well, this show in this space, they need about 50 linear feet of space. There's only about 4. We usually have 4 to 7 each time in this space. Just depends on the type of work they make. For example, Kent State's the top jewelry metals program in the country, but they don't make large things usually. So I could have several metalsmiths in here, but I can only probably have 3 or 4 painters. So I could show them together because one's 3D, one's not. But it just depends on who's graduating.
Right.
This one, I believe there's only 4.
Okay, yeah.
2 of them are setting up now, and 2 of them are unaccounted. But they only have until 5, so.
When was the Student of Art Gallery constructed? So how long has it been in function?
The School of Art has been part of Kent since it was a normal school.
Oh.
So that's 102 years, right? We've always had an art department. The gallery, this gallery, or these galleries, have been here since the building was built in 1972, 71, 72. downtown gallery has been there 15 years. Eels is older. It's at a Blessed Community Center. It's been there since the late 60s.
And you said you've been a director for 12 years?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, it's okay.
What kind of turnout are you expecting for this?
Probably about 400 to 500 people on Thursday night. You know, student shows tend to be, you know, like that. Because they, you know, kids are graduating, they have friends, they have families. You know. I don't tend to typically judge a show by its reception night, but this, you know, shows like this are only up for a week.
Right.
So, you know, they have a lot.
And then you said this takes 2 to 3 years to plan. How long have the students been preparing?
Well, the whole time they've been here.
Since-
So,
okay,
yeah.
since
So I
they're
plan the
okay.
galleries out, meaning I schedule the gallery calendar out, all the gallery calendars out for 2 to 3 years. But in terms of the students and stuff, they've probably been working on this for, you know, maybe a little more than a semester.
Okay.
But or you could argue it's been their whole time in college.
Right, right.
Just
Okay.
depends on how you want to approach that.
Okay.
But I think the bulk of this work is probably done in the last 6 months.
What are the benefits to the students participating in the gallery?
Well, the biggest thing is professional practices. They get a chance to, you know, lots of times this is the first time they've ever shown in a gallery. Also, they get a chance to, you know, get their work ready for professional, you know, approaching commercial galleries, and so they have to go through the whole process where they have to write about their work, they have to photograph their work, they have to submit a paper usually. So it's a whole, I mean, that's what you have to do to be a professional. So that's one great thing about Kent State. Lots of schools, in fact most, just like you finish the coursework, here's your degree. You know, and Kent State actually gives students an opportunity to feel what it's really like to go through the whole process in terms of exhibiting your work and a little bit of luck. So it's important. It's very valuable. So they're not totally clueless.
This might be kind of a broad question, but what would you say is one of the biggest struggles that students might have preparing for this?
I think all of our students at Kent, I think many of them, you know, it's challenging, but I think, well, there's a couple of things there. One, many of our students work. So the amount of time they need, you know, you need to put in, as probably a lot of you guys do, you need to put into a class or put into your work, you don't get to do.
Right.
And that's challenging. That's just the nature of the beast of this type of school. Also, when you get into a studio, like you see Alex over there, you get from your studio to the gallery, it's different. You know, so seeing the stuff on the wall, the idea you had on the wall, you know, what you asked Alex, that would say, yeah, it's just a little different. You know, and it's not necessarily hard or harder. It's just you're sort of like, oh, I thought it would look like this. You know, it looks lost, or it looks like, you know, is it going to change when I light it? Or, you know, there's a lot of things like that. You know, that can be really challenging because it's very different space than in your studio, which can be lots of people's studios or their basements, their garages, that extra room in their house. That's, you know, there's some very famous artists whose studios are just that.
Well, what is your official title? Are you a teacher?
Director of galleries.
You're the director of galleries? So you don't teach any classes here?
I teach sometimes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my MFA is in ceramics. I write books on how to make stuff out of clay, but I teach sparingly.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't usually have time to do that. Although I do occasionally, I usually get to, you know, honestly I get to teach what I want to teach.
Right.
One more. Can you describe art in 3 words?
Ooh, I guess that, wow, jeez,
Yeah.
no, in 3 words?
Yes.
I don't think anyone's ever asked me that question before. Art in 3 words. Quit looking at me.
You can make it 5.
No, you gotta give me a minute. I'm good at stuff like this. for me, and this is very personal, and it's it's a very personal take. So it's going to be different for somebody else.
Right.
So for me, art has always been entrepreneurial, research, and innovation. So but that's not some people would be like entrepreneurial.
Right.
That's what an artist is. An artist is a small business owner. They're walking, talking, small business owner. So anybody tells you differently is selling something.
Right.
So that's the reality of what an artist is. So inside of academia, we get the joy of doing research. Like I get to go around, curate shows, and be like, okay, Japanese prints influence this, and this, and how that changed markets around the world. So that's a very innovation. Obviously, there's lots of things that are process of innovation happen. So that's going to be a different answer for some people.
Right. Just your person.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, go ahead. So the show is from Tuesday through Friday?
Through Friday. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Reception is Thursday night,
Thursday night?
5 to 8.
Very good. Anything else?
Yeah.
No, that's it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
No problem.